You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverette and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23 and by the DAV Chapter 43.
Good morning, Shelbyville, Bedford County. You're listening to the All Veterans Hour. I'm Gary Leverette. I'm here with my co-host, Jimmy Miller. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning. Good morning to all our listeners out there.
And we have a special guest this morning, Mike Corrado from A Hero Music.
A Hero Records and Harmony Hill Entertainment. Yep.
Harmony Hill.
That's our place right here in Shelbyville.
Okay, right here in Shelbyville. I just found out about Mike a couple of weeks ago and found out that he does a lot for veterans, so we invite him to be on the show. Good to have you.
It's an honor to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your military career.
Well, I
throw you a curveball here.
Okay, yeah. So it kind of starts back in high school, and when I was getting out of I played music all the way through grade school and high school, and when it was time to look at what to do after high school, I was looking at a couple different colleges. I looked at two in particular. One of them was East Carolina School of Music, which is in Greenville, North Carolina, and then the other one was the Citadel, which is the Military College of South Carolina. I visited both schools, and I absolutely fell in love with Charleston, and it just felt right. It was just beautiful. And when I went to Greenville, there wasn't much there at the time, and as I kind of looked around, and we wound up going to a couple different events and parties, and I realized that if I would go here and do music, I would probably drop out, be in a band, and never finish and get my degree. So I was like, I think I need to be locked away somewhere and really focus on things. So I wound up going to the Citadel, and still playing and writing music and that kind of thing, but just mainly just kind of for fun or just for myself. And then come graduation time, I was doing the Marine Corps the Marine Corps ROTC program, and really just kind of found my tribe. Found the people that I really connected with, felt comfortable with, and so it wasn't a far stretch to go into the Marine Corps from there. So I went to Officer Candidate School, and then the basic school, and then the infantry officer course, and then wound up getting stationed down at Camp Lejeune as an infantry platoon commander. Several deployments this is 94 is when I got down there. So several deployments to South America, Africa, Cuba. But then I wound up getting out after about 5 years because this music thing was really calling me. It was just, so I had to go try that out and pursue it. So I was in a band. It was called the Mike Corrado Band, and it was all Marines at one time, and we were just out there kind of, just attacking the road. We were just going venue to venue, doing 200, 250 shows a year. And things were going good. We got management. We're starting to open up for big people. And then 9/11 happened, and I was still in the individual ready reserve, which I didn't even know what that was. I always thought it was active duty or you're out. I really didn't know much about the reserves or that kind of thing. But so they called and said, hey, we need you. And everybody in the band says, yeah, we get it. And, I just said, where are we going and what's the gear list? Because that was the mindset at the time of, hey, this is our fight, and I'm not going to miss it. So wound up taking a pause from the band, and that pause turned into 4 years of being mobilized. The last year I spent in Fallujah, Iraq, and then from there I wound up going back onto what the Marine Corps calls the Active Reserve Program. So you have the active component, you have the reserve component, and then you have a small cadre kind of in between that's active reserve. So a lot of the other services have like active guard and reserve, or the Air Force has the ART, AGR, things like that. So similar to that, but wound up staying until 2020 when I retired. So I got to go to Camp Lejeune as a young infantry platoon commander, and I got to leave as a 06 commander. So I thought it was a good way to bookend a career, and but always wanted to do music and had the opportunity to move here near Nashville, and here we are.
So now you have your record studio, right? You have a recording studio.
So everywhere that we have been, the family and I, we've moved all over, to include Hawaii, and always had a room in the house that was nothing but music gear and recording gear, and was always doing things like just writing and putting out little projects and things like that. And this was an opportunity to actually build a no-kidding, legitimate recording studio where I could bring in friends and veterans and just do music full time. And it's amazing. I didn't think that we'd get here many of those times, many of those days, but we did, and making the most of it.
Having been associated with Operation Song and Freedom Sings USA, I know there's a need for what you're doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the studio here in Shelbyville, it's called Harmony Hill, and we've started Harmony Hill Entertainment. We have the studio, and then we also have the label, which we have an artist on right now that we're working with and promoting and writing and recording and doing all that stuff. One of our outreach programs is A Hero Records. So A Hero started from an organization based in Alabama, which is a 501c3. It was started by a friend of mine named Lee Stuckey, and it's an acronym for American Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. Lee is an avid hunter, so they have a lot of hunting programs, fishing programs, land management, a lot of programs that get veterans and first responders involved in programs that are not self-destructive, that can lead to a path of a new future for them. And part of that starts with these weekends where they have these hunting and fishing opportunities and things like that. And then they provide resources to the veterans and first responders and their families. And one of the things that we started noticing was like we would have events, and then at the end of the night or the dinner, we would have some music. And we'd have people come up and play, mostly veterans. But then we also met some amazing songwriters through Bob Reagan and Operation Song, and they were doing things with Bob and his organization. And then we were doing some similar things where we would bring in some veterans and we would learn about their stories and put their story to song. And then it's an amazing therapeutic process. So it really became a great thing. And then from there, we started doing some songwriting retreats, some music retreats. So a music therapy program, which is we have the music therapy program, and then from there, when we have some folks that are really interested in doing this for a living, we did the other step, which was we created this record label, which falls under the nonprofit. And that gives the veterans an opportunity to come in and record, and then we help promote them and get them out there, and we just try to give them an opportunity to do what they love to do. I think being a service member is a calling, and I think playing music is a calling. So there's some similar paths there, and we just try to help nurture that calling and help them out as best we can.
Well, you mentioned Bob Reagan. We've had Bob and his guitar in here. We've had Don Goodman and his guitar in here. We've had Steve Williams in here, and Steve Dean's supposed to come, but he hadn't made it yet. But anyway, so you brought your guitar.
Yes, sir.
So you're ready for the first song?
Oh, we're okay. All right, so
we're going live. We're going live.
We're going live. All right, we're just going to do this.
We can do one.
No, we just do it live. That's how we do. We just live.
We're going to have some live music,
on the
folks.
edge.
Here we go.
All right.
This is Mike Corrado.
All right. Hey, this is a song called On My Watch Tonight. I wrote this shortly after 9/11 when I had come across an email or something that had come back, and it was a young Marine in Afghanistan, and he wrote a letter to his father saying, hey, get back to living, get back to all the good things, and because we got this over here, we've got the watch. And I just was so inspired by that message that I wrote this song. And it really, for all the Marines out there, you know that we come from three places. We come from Parris Island, South Carolina, we come from San Diego, and then we come from Quantico. So this is a story about this young Marine and how he came from Parris Island. So it goes like this. I come from an island in the Carolina sand, where I was broke down and built up and reborn, a fighting man. And my blood runs red, white and blue. I'll bring the cold, the rain, the pain, and the bullets, so you don't have to. Don't worry about me, I'll be alright. Just care for your children, sleep tight. I'll keep you safe on my watch tonight. It's a long, long way from that island, and a long way from home. With the thought of you standing behind me, we can never be alone. And there's a promise I need you to make. While I'm gone, you take care of the love, and I'll deal with the hate. Don't worry about me, I'll be alright. Just care for your children, sleep tight. I'll keep you safe on my watch tonight. Don't worry about me, I'll be alright. Just care for your children, sleep tight. I'm keeping you safe on my watch tonight. On my watch tonight.
All right. Good singing, good picking.
Well, thank you, sir.
That was Mike
I didn't
Corrado.
know how that was going to go at 9:20 in the morning.
Mike Corrado. And, what was the name of that song?
That's called On My Watch Tonight.
On My Watch Tonight. I guess we better pay some bills. You got anything in there from our new sponsor?
We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. So grab a seat.
All right, we want to welcome the Holy Crab Shack. They're paying the bills, some of the bills for us now. And if you hadn't been there, you need to go try it. They support our veterans.
And they got really good alligator bites.
And they got really good country boils, too, I tell you. But anyway, go and see them. They're located in that little strip mall over across from Lowe's, kind of down in the hole at the end of the building. Veterans get a 10% discount there. So go by and see them. They've got some other things going that they're putting together to help veterans. We'll be telling you about that at a later time. But Jessica and Chris and the crew at Holy Crab Shack, they look forward to seeing you. We always want to let you know where your veterans can get a deal. And they do give veterans a 10% discount. Just found out about another place in Shelbyville. This one is veteran-owned. It's up there next to Lowe's. It's called the Whiskey City Grill, I believe it is.
Whiskey City Grill, yeah.
Whiskey City Grill, and that's Chris. Chris is a Navy veteran, and he owns that, and he's got a great hamburger. That's the only thing I've tried up there. I've only been up there once, but I've known Chris for a while, and I walked in. I didn't know he owned it, and found out that he does own it. So go see Chris at Whiskey City Grill. He's, again, a Navy veteran, and again, all veterans get 10% discount.
And that's right next to, it's the shopping center next to Kroger.
Kroger, right next to Kroger, yeah. Where Highway 55 used to be.
Mm-hmm, yep.
And good food. So we're here this morning with Jimmy Miller and Chris Corrado, and got a little live music going on. But Jimmy, I guess you better tell them when our meetings are, because we want to recruit our veterans.
That we do.
And,
Okay, so our American Legion and our DAV Chapter 43 are located in the same location. So that location is 1355 Highway 130 East. The American Legion meets on the first Tuesday of the night, or first Tuesday of the month. And then the DAV, they meet on the second Tuesday of the month. At both of these organizations, we have meat that's provided by Rowdy Ranch. All we ask is that everyone brings a covered side, and spouses are welcome to these events.
Absolutely, and we need some lady veterans in our organizations. We have several wives that come to the meetings, but we need some lady veterans, come and help us out. We try to help our veterans and help our community and our youth, and so we're trying to recruit you guys. American Legion has about 80 members, paid members. Only about 20 come to the meetings. And sometimes that's stretching it, isn't it?
It is. And there's more things we want to do in the community, but to do those things in the community, we need the veterans.
Yeah, and DAV has 150 paid members. And like Jimmy said, they meet the second Tuesday night. We're trying to recruit for them also. They have about 20 members come to the meetings. It takes money to do what we do, trying to take care of our veterans, our community, and our youth. The one event that we have at the end of the year is Feed Bedford County at Christmas, where we fill 200 food boxes. That, even though we get donations, that alone cost us $10,000. That's not including the donations that we receive. So, and then we have some other events, so we need to raise money. So we're having a golf tournament, April the 14th at River Bend. If you want to come play golf, if you want to be a sponsor, we have sponsorships ranging from $100 to $1,000. It's $500 per team. It's a 4-person scramble. I used to say 4-man scramble, but we do have some ladies to play. So it's a 4-person scramble. We have lunch at 11 o'clock, provided by Barrel House Barbecue. And then we're going to tee off about 12:30. So if you're interested in that, you can contact me at 931-580-2865. Y'all ought to have that memorized by now, because I tell you every week, 931-580-2865. And put down on our next event after the golf tournament is Memorial Day. We have a Memorial Day service on the south side of the square. So on your calendar, write down May the 26th, the last Monday in May. Memorial Day is always the last Monday in May. We'll have a speaker. We'll have some veteran-related music. We'll sing the national anthem and have prayer. And it usually lasts about an hour. And Memorial Day is for those veterans that gave the ultimate sacrifice. Some of us gave some, but this is for the ones that gave it all. Veterans Day honors all veterans, but Memorial Day is for the ones that gave it all. And we usually have a very moving service. We had Colonel Jody Miller last year as our speaker, and I don't think there was a dry eye in the place.
No, he was a good speaker.
He was awesome. And so come out and be with us on May the 26th, the last Monday in May. And I urge you to go to YouTube and look up that song, Last Monday in May. A good friend of mine, Jimmy Ray Sales, sings that. Jimmy Ray passed away, but he loved the veterans. He was a veteran himself. And that song, Last Monday in May, will touch you. And if you don't hear it on YouTube, you'll hear it that day, on May the 26th. So go look that video up and watch Jimmy Ray sing that song. It's very touching. So we're here again this morning with Mike Corrado. We're doing a little bit of live music. And Mike, you got another one?
Well, I brought some.
Okay, you brought some?
I brought some. We have a gentleman that his name is Tim Murray. He's from the Philadelphia area. He was on active duty in the Marine Corps, and then he got out, and now he's currently serving in the reserves. He's got a beautiful wife and young son, and he's just an amazing storyteller. And we learned about him through other veterans that play music, and we reached out, and he was one of the first people that we released on A Hero Records. And it's called Lead Me Home, if you have that one.
Lead Me, yes.
Lead Me Home by Tim Murray.
And all my life I've been a rolling stone. Driving these lines is all I've known. But I think it's time that I find my way down a path less traveled on a road unpaved. So guide me straight into the light. Hold me steady and help me make it through the night. Let the wheels turn on their own and lead me somewhere that I can finally call home. Well, the world keeps turning and I'm stuck in the waves, just watching the tide crash and choices I've made. but I think I'm ready to face today and sleep softly in this bed I've made. So guide me straight to the light, hold me steady and help me make it through the night. Let the wheels turn on their own and lead me somewhere that I can finally call home. Some say the best is yet to come, and I know it's my turn to be that one, to right my wrongs and mend this fence and get back to me while it all makes sense. So guide me straight into the light, hold me steady and help me make it through the night. Let the wheels turn on their own and lead me somewhere that I can finally call home. Lead me somewhere that I can finally call home. Lead me home.
You're listening to the All Veterans Hour on WLIJ, engaging discussion by veterans for veterans, with your hosts Gary Leverette and Jimmy Miller. Join them as they discuss various veterans programs, issues, play powerful and healing veteran-related music, and keep the American citizen informed on things they ought to know. Right here on the leader, WLIJ, every second and fourth Monday on 98.7 FM and AM 1580, and reaching around the world on WLIJradio.com. The All Veterans Hour on WLIJ is brought to you by the American Legion Post 23 and by the DAV Chapter 43.
All right, we're back here with Jimmy Miller and Mike Corrado from A Hero recording studio. Did I say that right?
Well, the studio is Harmony Hill Studio.
Harmony Hill, okay.
And then one of our programs is we run the A Hero Records and Music for A Hero.
Tell us about how the veterans can get into your program that you've got.
So if they go to aherorecords.com, they can find us there. When they submit their information or just their contact information, it primarily comes to me, and then we'll reach out to them and learn about who they are, what they're doing, what they got going on, and how we might be able to help. And then if that's a veteran who is a little bit further along, and we feel that that we might not be able to provide them the assistance that they need because they're a little bit more of an established artist, then we'll try to reach into our resources and figure out how we can't help just pass them along or further them along with what they're trying to do. They can also learn about us through aherousa.org. That's the parent 501c3. I'm just running their music program and their the label for them. But they are based out of Alabama. They have a lot of programs down there, a lot of things that they do within the Southeast, but then they also do events out in Colorado and Wyoming and things like that. So they are they do have national reach, but they are just a great organization. And with regards to A Hero Records and Music for a Hero, that is all done through donations. So if somebody would like to make a donation, tax-deductible donation, and put it towards veteran music programs, they're welcome to do that. There's links on our .com site that on aherorecords.com that will forward to aherousa.org for those donations.
And A Hero is an acronym for what?
American Heroes Enjoying Recreation Outdoors. It started with hunting and fishing programs and retreats, and has morphed into so much more with regards to either music and music therapy programs or land management programs. They have a lot of different resources where they'll take veterans and kind of help them on their journey to doing something positive and healthy for themselves.
On the music side, what is your vision or purpose for your veterans?
What we like to do is it's kind of twofold. Sometimes you have veterans out there who perhaps were playing music in the barracks, or they were playing music while they were deployed, or they were, they didn't really do it full time, or they didn't do it, deliberately. But if they have the passion and a dream to do that, we want to help them do that. We want to get them, professionally recorded and promoted and things like that. So that's one of our goals, is to just, with a veteran, they sign that blank check, right? We've all heard that. And they sign that blank check to their country for amount of up to and including their lives, and they put their time and their heart and soul into serving. And a lot of times that is not conducive to, having a lot of time to pursue a musical career or interest. So, knowing that they have, offered to essentially give everything to their country or their service, we wanted to be able to say, hey, I know that you didn't have the ability to record in the barracks, or I know you didn't have the ability to be on this stage or that stage. So that's what we try to do for them. It's like, hey, you've done this for your country. Now let us do this for you.
Okay, so I want to make sure, because me and Gary talk a lot about Freedom Sings and Operation Song. So like me, I have so slim a musical ability that I wouldn't even call it ability. So I wouldn't be the person that would come to y'all. Like Freedom Sings and Operation Song, I come and tell a story, but they write it and they have the musicians. Mm-hmm. You're looking for the people that, I'm not saying they're stars, but they have musical talent.
So, yes, but with a caveat. So, number one, if you are a veteran and you have some talent, or you have a desire to do more with your music, then that's a program that we help with. Now, on the flip side, similar to Operation Song, and we've had some writers that were and still are involved with Operation Song, but for example, we had a retreat one weekend, and we brought in a Marine. His name was Mike Miller, and Corporal Mike Miller, Mikey Miller. And he brought in his beautiful wife and 3 teenage kids. And we knew that, everybody knew, but that he had stage 4 cancer, brain cancer. And he came down for a great weekend, one of those fishing trips, but we also were able to carve out some time to sit down with Jeff Sylvie and Rusty Tabor, just, some pillars in the Nashville songwriting scene, and Kevin Adair from Tuskegee, Alabama, just an amazing songwriter, and myself, and we got to sit down with Mikey and his family and just kind of learn about, who he is as a father, as a Marine. But his story, just real quick, is he joined the Marine Corps later in life. He was 27 when he joined, which is a little bit later. He wound up doing 2 deployments. He was a Purple Heart recipient, and that's it. He went to serve, and he served, and he came home, and he went back, and he was working construction. He fell off a 20-foot scaffold. He broke his back, and while he was in the hospital, they did a whole body scan on him, and then they said, hey, what's this in his head? And come to find out, he had a brain tumor, and he ultimately had stage 4 cancer. So we were able to sit down with him and just kind of learn about him as an individual and his family and that kind of thing. And we wrote this song called My Legacy. And we were able to get it written, produced, written, recorded, produced, and out. And we got it to him 3 days before he passed away in 2023. I'm sorry, no, 2022 is when he passed. So we were able to get that song to him, at least an advance copy for him to hear. And then it's something that his kids and his wife can listen to and think, and just have some great memories and understand all the goodness that he did.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big, huge things since working with Freedom Sings, that getting the stories out there for our grandkids and great-grandkids that, don't know what we do. And like my grandkids, they have no idea about my military career, but getting that song out there, at some point they're going to go, what did Papa do? Oh, listen to this. This is what Papa did. So I think it's huge. I can't say enough for all of you.
Yeah, music is such a powerful tool and such a powerful way to communicate with people. And if we can, touch people in that way, it's a great way for people to be able to listen and remember and heal.
It is.
Okay, if somebody wants to contact you, what's the best way? Email or?
If they go to aherorecords.com and they hit the contact form, it'll come to us.
Okay.
Okay, another question for you. So, say I heard one of these songs on the radio this morning, and I like it. How would I go about acquiring that song?
So all of the songs by our artists are all on all the streaming platforms. So, when you go and you listen to the song on Spotify, that generates about 0.009 cents per stream. So, if you go out there and stream it, 1,000 times or so, then that'll be about $9 that the artist makes. But it's just about getting exposure and things like that. And if for those that do have physical copies out there, or more importantly are out there playing tour dates, and go see them, go support them, throw something in the tip jar.
All right, again we're here with Mike Corrado from Harmony Hill, and let's talk a little bit about you veterans that need help from the VA. If you need paperwork filled out, claims to file, you just need to get into the VA, you need to go see our veteran service officer here in Shelbyville. He's located in the basement of the courthouse. There are no steps. There's a ramp all the way, and it's wheelchair accessible. His name is Ben Ely, and he has an administrative assistant, Miss Cara, and they will take care of you with your Veterans Affairs paperwork and questions. And Ben does a great job. But I'm going to tell you, if you go see him, make an appointment first, because that's one of the busiest VSO offices in the state. So you don't want to go up there and have to sit for 2 hours. So make an appointment with Ben first, and I'm going to tell you how to do that. You call 931-685-4838. 931-685-4838, and that's Ben Ely, and he will take care of your veterans paperwork. One of the programs that we have to help our veterans to get to their doctor's appointment, we have Bill Tucker and 2 other drivers. We have 3 vehicles. They will come to your home, pick you up, take you to your doctor's appointment, wait till you get through, and bring you back home. We're one of the few counties in the state that do that. There are others that have a similar service, but you have to get to a staging point before they will take you to your doctor's appointment, and they will take you back to that point. Somebody has to be there to pick you up. We actually pick you up at your home, take you to your appointment, and bring you back. And Bill Tucker and his crew, Jackie and David, do an awesome job. All right, let's do one more song.
Can I tell you real quick about my VFW experience?
Sure.
So when I was leaving active duty, in order to apply for VA benefits, you need to go see an advocate. And there was the VFW advocate that I met with, and she was at Camp Lejeune. She did help me with all the paperwork, with organizing all the medical records, with doing all the stuff, and then getting it submitted and kind of, just kind of bird dogging it the whole way through. And it was, they made it a much easier process, and it wound up being very beneficial for myself and my family. And I think one of the challenges is you have a lot of veterans out there that may not know or understand what benefits that they rate, and you need somebody like that VFW advocate to go and work through this process. And it's not it's not always the smoothest process, but you get people that care, and they go and they work through this process for you, and they get you what you rate, what you deserve.
Yeah, Ben does an awesome job. He's retired military, and he does a great job, and we appreciate him. He's a super guy. And I hear all the time, well, I don't go to the VA because other people need it more than I do. Well, that's a mistake, folks, because you never know when that doctor's going to walk in and say that C word.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens and you're not in the VA system, it's going to cost you a lot of money.
Yep.
Well, but if you're in that VA system, I mean, I spent 9 weeks in the hospital. Bill was over $1 million, and the VA paid every dime of it. That didn't cost me anything.
I was playing music for many, many years. A good friend of mine was a guitar player, and his dad was a corpsman in Vietnam, a Greenside corpsman, so he was attached to the Marines. Just went through the thick of it, and he was having some issues as a result of Agent Orange, and he wound up getting cancer, and he kept working with the VA, and then they wound up ultimately awarding him 100%, which is what he should have had.
Right.
And they wound up paying his everything that he would have made, so they basically paid him retroactive. So I think he wound up getting like $180,000 in back pay and all that kind of stuff. But the thing is that money and those resources, they're waiting for you. And if you don't go out there and tell them who you are and tell them your story, then that's just it's something you're missing out on, and it could help pay those bills when you need them.
Absolutely, and when you go in, you go to Ben Ely or somebody in another town, tell them that you want to file an intent to file document, because that starts the clock running. If it takes you a year, 2 years, or whatever, you have a year from the time you put in an intent to file document. You have a year to get all your evidence in, and that starts the clock running. They'll pay you back. So say you waited a year, you got it in time, and then it was another year before they made a decision. They pay you back pay all the way back to that date that you filed that intent to file. So,
yeah, and see, just 2 weeks ago, this happened to me. My wife's sister's father-in-law passed away. He was a veteran, Agent Orange. He passed away from it. Well, his wife they had told her to fill out the paperwork and just send it in. And they told me, so I called her. I was like, do not. I was like, VA paperwork is challenging. I was like, make an appointment at the courthouse and let a trained VSO fill that out. So if you have a spouse pass away that's a veteran, there's paperwork that has to be done. Go get help from people that actually do this every day, and it'll save you a lot of headache.
Absolutely. Okay, let's do another song. You want to introduce this song?
Which one you got queued up there? All right. Let's do, let's end it on, are we coming to a close on our time?
We got 10 minutes.
All right, so we're going to end on a bit of a positive note. This is a song called Stand. And I wrote this back in 2010. I was stationed in Kaneohe Bay at the time, and I had been going out and doing some shows here and there, and I just really got to understand the power of music, the way you can communicate through music. And this song, Stand, is just my way of saying thank you to those who serve, those who have served, those who will serve, those who made the ultimate sacrifice, and also the families that stand behind them. And this is just my thank you to all those who wear the cloth of our nation and those who support them.
Some signed up first chance, then could at 17. They had their mama sign the papers so they could leave. And on the bus ride out of town, the families gathered round and waving. And they come shores in Carolina, through the plains, through the hills in California, with a hunger deep inside and a burning desire to be free. And they stand upon that wall, and they stand up for us all, and they stand for the ones who gone before. They stand. Now everyone wants to be the hero. Some don't want to pay that price. You think living free comes easy, just ask those who sacrifice. As they stand for the chance to believe, oh, stand so we can be anything we wanna be. Oh, they stand so our children can be free. They stand. It's a time to fight and a time to fold, and give it out are words they've never known. And so they stand. They stand upon a wall. They stand. They stand up for us all. They stand. For the ones who've gone before. They stand. And they stand for the chance to believe. Oh, stand so we can be anything we wanna be. Oh, they stand say prayers for those no longer with us, and the families that stand behind those who protect us. As the bus rolls back to town, and everyone gathers round for those who stay.
All right, we're back here for our last segment, here with Jimmy Miller, my co-host, and our special guest, Mike Corrado from Harmony Hill, and discussing how we can help our veterans through music. And Mike, if you would, just kind of sum up what we've talked about today, and we've got about 5 minutes.
Okay. So essentially, I'm here in Shelbyville. I'm happy to be a member of this community. I'm still new to the community relatively, because as soon as we got here in 2023, we started building that studio, and that was day on, stay on. But the things we do at the studio is we record and we produce and we help veterans through song and music, and that's through both the recording process but also songwriting retreats and things like that. So if you're interested in helping out, please visit aherorecords.com and aherousa.org. And then also, equally is important, or if not more so, because it's so much more of a vast thing, is the things that you talked about with regards to veteran services and the VSO officers at the VFW and the DAV, and those are the folks that help our veterans get the benefits that they deserve. And like we were just talking during while the song was playing, is if you submit some paperwork and it comes back denied, then there's an appeal process. So just like we all know when we signed up, we all learned how to fight, and you just got to keep fighting. So just because somebody says no or one door closes, you keep attacking.
One door closes, another door opens.
Yes, sir.
It sure is. Yeah. Jimmy, what you got, buddy? You got anything?
I don't have anything.
I've never known you not to have anything.
Oh, okay. Well, if you're in the Murfreesboro area and you want to come out for Freedom Sings on Thursday night, the location is 439 Rice Street. This week, of course, we got our songwriter Don Goodman will always be there. And this week we have, what was the name I said? Wood. Give me just a second. Wood Newton. And he is the writer for Riding with Private Malone. So we have some guest writers, and this week we're going to try something new. We're going to have 8 veterans in the same unit trying to tell the story of the unit so we can create a unit song. So it should be interesting.
That's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Absolutely. Brandon, how about telling them about the Crab Shack one more time, and we're going to get out of here. We're done.
We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see. We're the Holy Crab Shack, where the love runs deep. Precious catch and a faith to keep. Right here in Shelbyville, Tennessee. Good food and God come and see.